My name is Ina Katajcik, and I am the operations manager for the Zero Waste program. Usually when people think about zero waste, they're thinking that they've eliminated all their waste generation. But when we talk about zero waste, we're just talking about the proper stewardship of waste materials. So that means that anything that can be recycled is sent for recycling, anything that can be composted is composted, anything that can be prevented is redesigned in a way that the waste doesn't happen in the first place. So for us, zero waste is when the company has thought through their waste processes and that they have eliminated all the waste that they can, but they've also made sure that the waste materials that they do generate, that they send it for proper disposal. SCS has a facility-based certification. So that means we're going in and we're looking at what's actually happening on a facility-by-facility basis. What makes us different is that we don't require an on-site visit for every single facility. We'll look at the volumes and we'll look at the data and the invoices and the bills of lading of all the waste that's going out of every facility. But to go in and actually do a check of the infrastructure, we only do for a sample of facilities that are in the scope of a certification. So companies are already doing a lot to cut their costs. They're already doing a lot to improve their environmental stewardship. So a company would be interested in zero waste certification to be able to tell the journey of that process and to be able to share with clients and consumers to what level they've gone to make these positive changes. So what a third-party certification does, it's a separate entity coming in, such as SCS, and actually verifying and saying this company is actually doing what they're saying they're doing. Other certifications, you could only participate if a facility achieves 99% diversion. And that is also our definition of zero waste. But we also want to be able to capture all the other facilities that are just in the process of diverting their material and haven't quite achieved that. Maybe they've achieved 65%, maybe they've achieved 75%. But the point is, it's still a great achievement, and it still documents their process and just basically their current achievements in zero waste. So what our certification does is that it actually certifies the percentage of waste diverted at the facility. And it'll also tell the story of, well, what improvements have we made from last year? So say last year, 60% was diverted, and then this year, 65% was diverted. That's a 5% increase. That is an improvement that you've made year over year. In any case, we would put any method that this company used and the percentage that was diverted using that method on the certificate. So it's very transparent. So that's how companies can benchmark each their own facilities against each other and say, well, which facility is doing better than the other based on which methods they've used and how much they've diverted, and also how companies that are participating in the scheme can benchmark themselves against other participating companies. So any company that has a facility can benefit from this certification. So that's an NGO, it could be a government facility, it could be a company that has a warehouse or just a processing operation. As long as we can actually see the waste that they're generating and have invoices and other kind of documentation to support that facility can be certified. You would take a hard look at your waste stream. So that usually starts with a waste audit. The company could do it internally, the company could hire external people to come in and actually see. So first you need to know what you're throwing away, where it's going. Once you made that determination, you could then do a few things. You could make sure that you have haulers, that you're basically partnering with the right waste companies to properly take your waste. And then you could also take an even deeper look and say, well, how do we prevent this waste in the first place? If we have a disposable mold, can we move to a reusable mold? If we're using a lot of styrofoam at the end of the process, can we repack that styrofoam in some way and use it again? So it's just really taking a look at what materials you're throwing away to be able to see what are our alternatives.